Bitcoin is currently in this huge price squeeze formation and we are about to see a huge move next. The same thing is happening for Ethereum, so this is the calm before the big storm. In this video I'm going to have a look at several time frames for Bitcoin because I see a lot of interesting formations coming into the market. There is a lot of news coming into the market, and I will also have a look at the Bitcoin quarterly returns, the Bitcoin ETFs, the Ethereum ETFs, and also a lot of other interesting news about altcoins. Later in the video I will also have a look at the two altcoins, Ethereum and XRP. So you want to watch this video all the way to the end to don't miss anything. I would highly appreciate it if you like this video because it will help my channel a lot. In the description under this video you can also follow me on my free Telegram group and you can also follow me on my Twitter. And with that being said, now let's dive right into the charts. On the 1 hour time frame we can see that Bitcoin was in this huge resistance area. We broke to the top side, we retested this previous resistance area as support, and from there we saw a beautiful bounce to the top side, and it looks a little bit that Bitcoin is trying to shift from into a bearish trend into an uptrend. So let's see if Bitcoin can create a more of a bullish uptrend, and we want to see more strength coming into the market. But if we erase this resistance area, we can also see that Bitcoin is now trying to consolidate the price of Bitcoin, and we are going to see a huge breakout in the coming days because eventually this huge consolidation will come to an apex and the price of Bitcoin is getting squeezed into this price compression. So eventually we will either see a break to the top side or a break to the downside. But for now we are at the top side of this formation. So let's see if Bitcoin can break to the top side, retest resistance as support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. And if this bullish retest happens, I'm going to enter the market here at this retest. And then we can aim for higher targets, and the higher side of this formation will be confluent with the breakout target, and that will bring Bitcoin all the way back to the $102,000. So this could be a very interesting trade to make for Bitcoin in the coming days. So as I said, this falling channel formation is unfolding for Bitcoin on the 1 hour time frame, and we are currently at the top side of this formation. So let's see if today we can maybe see a breakout to the top side and a retest of the formation. And of course this will be very bullish, and this could all happen today or maybe during the next beginning of the next week. And if we then have a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow of yesterday, we saw a little bit of outflows. We saw $156.8 million outflow, and still we are above the $40 billion in total. So let's see if we can stay above this level, because we are now seeing 4 consecutive days of negative outflows. And we can see that yesterday BlackRock was still buying Bitcoin, and we can see that the other Bitcoin ETFs were selling their Bitcoin portion. So let's see if today can be a little bit more bullish, because we also want to stay above the $40 billion in total cumulative inflows. And of course, yeah, if we're going to see more inflows, that of course will be having a very bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin. And zooming all the way out to the daily time frame, we can see that Bitcoin is also in this huge price compression on the daily time frame, and we can see higher lows on the lower side, and we also see a lot of support coming in at this trendline support. And on the higher side we can see multiple touch points here as resistance, and this trendline resistance is unfolding. And we can see this trendlining resistance and the support trendline are going to meet sometime, because eventually this price of Bitcoin is getting squeezed into this apex, and we will see a huge breakout maybe in the coming week or maybe even today. So eventually I think we will see a break to the top side, because Bitcoin is still in this uptrend. We can see higher highs and we can also see higher lows. So as I'm always saying, the trend is your friend until it ends, and for now Bitcoin is still in this uptrend. So I think we will see a break to the top side, because Bitcoin created this bottom formation, we created a higher low, and from now I think we will just break out, retest the resistance as support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. And the breakout target of this formation will be the top side of the formation, which will bring Bitcoin all the way back to the $108,000 or $109,000, and this of course will also be confluent with the previous all-time high. So we could also see the bearish scenario unfold, that we're going to see a break below this trendline support, that we're going to see the retest of the support to test it as resistance, and then we have to aim for lower targets. And then the lower side of this formation will be confluent with the breakdown target, and that could bring Bitcoin all the way back to the $86,000. But of course, as I'm saying, Bitcoin is still in this uptrend on the daily time frame, so I think we will just see a continuation of the trend, and that Bitcoin is going to create a higher high and a new all-time high. And looking at the Bitcoin quarterly and monthly returns, we can see that the Q1 is still a little bit more bullish. We can see an inflow of 3.56%. And if we have a look at the Bitcoin monthly returns, we can see that January was almost in profits of almost 10%. But we can see that February is now in negative percentages, we can see a decline of 5.25%. And in the past, in the history of Bitcoin, we can only see 2 months of negative returns in February. So this could be the third month that we're going to see this negative return. So let's see if we can maybe turn things around, because we are still at the 14th of February, and we could see more inflows in the coming days. So let's see if we can maybe see more inflows, and that of course will be very bullish for Bitcoin. But for now, we're seeing that February is having some negative effect on the price of Bitcoin. And zooming out to another daily time frame for Bitcoin, we can also see that this huge resistance area on the top side is unfolding. We can see multiple touch points as resistance, and on the lower side we can see a lot of touch points as support. And currently we are seeing a little bit of a curve up. We bounced from the support, we bought at this green box of accumulation, and if you followed on my videos, you could have entered the market at this green box of accumulation, and you could maybe now trade it to the top side, because I think we will see another retest of this resistance area, and from this retest I'm going to take a little bit of profit after buying at this support level. So you could already make an interesting profit of almost 16%. So this is very bullish to see, and let's see if Bitcoin can continue the bullish uptrend and create more topside strength, and that we're coming to this resistance area, maybe force a break to the top side, retest this previous resistance area as support, and from there we can aim for higher targets, and then the next phase of the bull run can start for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is going to break above this huge resistance area, we could see the next phase of the bull market. And if we have a look at the fear and greed index for Bitcoin, we can see that we are at stages of neutral, and that means that there we can go anywhere. We can also go to stages of extreme fear, but we can also see that we're going to stages of extreme greed. And I want to see that Bitcoin is going to stages of extreme greed, because that means that we're going to see more rising prices in the coming weeks and months. So it is very good actually that we're coming now to stages of neutral, because we have still a lot of room to grow. And we can see that last month we were in greed, and that was also the time to be selling a little bit of Bitcoin. So when we are stages of fear, I'm going to buy more Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin is coming to stages of greed or extreme greed, you can take a little bit of profit. And in the history of Bitcoin, this was always a very good thing to do. And the first altcoin I want to have a look at is Ethereum, and we can see that Ethereum is respecting these horizontal levels very carefully. Currently we are at this huge support area, and previously it was acting as a resistance. As you can see here in the past, we can see a lot of price interactions here at this level, and it was acting as resistance. Then we flipped it into support, and now we're coming back to this level again to flip it as support. So this support is holding strong now, and this is also a very interesting level to enter the market for Ethereum. And let's see if Ethereum can bounce back a little bit, and that we're going to break above these huge resistance areas, and eventually we want to see more topside, because after this huge bearish trend we are now in for a treat, and we could maybe see a little bit more topside for Ethereum, because Ethereum is looking a little bit weaker than Bitcoin at the moment. So let's see if Ethereum can pump up the price and maybe force a break to either the top side, and that we're going to see these horizontal resistance areas getting broken. And if we have a look at the Ethereum ETF flow of yesterday, we can see a little bit of a bullish day. We can see that BlackRock and Fidelity were buying, and we can also see that Grayscale is selling their Ethereum portion. So in total, we saw a $12.8 million of total inflow, and this was having a little bit of bullish effect on the price of Ethereum, of course. And in the past weeks, we can see a lot of interesting inflows into the Ethereum ETF. So this means that the smart money is still buying Ethereum, and I think we will see a big push for Ethereum in the coming weeks. And we also had a very interesting news article coming in, and that was that 21 Shares proposes adding staking to its Ethereum ETF. So that means that if you're going to buy Ethereum through the 21 Shares, you can stake Ethereum, and that is of course very bullish, and that's what a lot of investors want, because a lot of investors are going to invest through the Ethereum ETF, and they're not going to day trade. They're just wanting to stack their Ethereum and maybe hold it for a couple years, and if they can maybe take profits with a lot of staking, that could also increase their willing to be investing in a 21 share. So this is a very good development in the Ethereum ETFs. And having another look at the Ethereum chart on the daily time frame, we can see that this huge triangle was eventually breaking to the downside. We saw a lot of resistance areas on the top side, and also this huge support was holding strong, but finally we broke to the downside, and now we are seeing a little bit of a bottom forming. So Ethereum could also come back to this huge previous support, maybe retest it as resistance and then aim for lower targets, but that is of course not what we want to see. And if we zoom in a little bit on the 4-hour time frame, we can also see this price squeeze of Ethereum is now occurring. We can see on the lower side a lot of touch points as support, and also on the higher side we can see a lot of touch points as resistance. So eventually this price of Ethereum is going to be squeezed into this apex, and we will either see a break to the top side or a break to the downside. And the chances are bigger now that we're going to see a break to the downside, because we're seeing a bearish trend, so we could also see a continuation to the downside. But of course we want to see that this price squeeze is eventually going to break out bullish, and that we come back to this maybe this previous support and to test it as resistance. And of course we also want to see that Ethereum is going to pump to the $3,000 and $4,000, and that of course will be very bullish. But for now we are inside of this formation, and this will be the next move for Ethereum that we're going to see. And let me know in the comments, are you still bullish on Ethereum, and what do you think about the price of Ethereum in 2025? And the next altcoin I want to have a look at is XRP. And we can see that currently during the making of this video, we can see that XRP is pumping very hard. We saw this huge resistance area coming into play, and eventually the price of XRP was getting squeezed into this apex. We saw a huge break to the top side. We retested the resistance as support. From here we entered the market, and if you followed me on my previous videos and on my X channel, you could have made an interesting gain of almost 40% on this trade. So this was a very interesting trade to make. And then we saw a new all-time high unfolding for XRP. After that we also came back to this huge support area, and we broke down. We retested this previous resistance again as support again. So then we came back. We also saw a little bit of rejection here coming into the market, because this resistance was holding too strong a little bit. But after the news of yesterday that we saw the SEC acknowledges Grayscale 19B for filing in for its spot ETF. So this was of course having a very bullish effect on the price of XRP. And as we can see here, XRP is now pumping to the top side. We broke to this previous resistance area, so this is looking very bullish. And now we can maybe start the next impulse for XRP. We can also see that XRP is creating these higher lows and also these higher highs. So eventually XRP is still in this huge bullish uptrend on the daily time frame, and we could see a huge continuation of the price. So in the coming weeks and days we could potentially see a new all-time high for XRP unfold. And if we then have a look at another chart of the daily time frame, we can also see this price squeeze was unfolding. Then we saw a break to the top side, and then at the previous all-time high we saw a new price squeeze unfold, and this price of XRP was getting squeezed into an apex. We saw a huge breakdown, and that was also complemented with the breakdown of Bitcoin. And we saw that XRP is now creating this huge higher low, and we're creating this bottom. So this is looking very bullish, and this price action is very strong, as we can see here. And currently on the day we are almost up for 8%. So this is looking good. And we can also see this horizontal level is now coming into play. So this is the next make or break level for XRP to break. And you can see in the past a lot of resistance coming into the market. Then we flipped it into support. Then we flipped it again into resistance. So let's see if XRP can break this level to the top side, or that we're possibly going to see a retest of this level. But we want to see a break to the top side, a retest of this resistance to test it as support, and then we can aim for higher targets, and then we can see the road to the new all-time high getting unfold for XRP. So let me know in the comments, do you still hold XRP in your portfolio, and what do you think about XRP in 2025? Personally, I think we will see levels around the $5 during this year. So again, please like the video if you think it was useful. Follow me on my free Telegram group in the link in the description under this video. Also follow me on my Twitter channel. And with that being said, I hope you liked this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.